This is the image that may make many Pakistani supporters very sad about it. On one hand, you had a debutant who was trying to defend 8 runs for a place in the final. It boiled down to the last 2 balls with 6 needed, but Charit Asalanka and the entire Ketarama ensured that Pakistan would be dumped out of the Asia Cup, and because of that, your hopes of an India versus Pakistan match in the final, it still remains unfulfilled. Now, Pakistan came into this match against Sri Lanka on the back of disastrous misfortunes because Imam ul Haq suffered a back spasm. Then you had one of the replacements in Saud Shakil suffering fever, and because of that, Pakistan had to make 5-6 changes in a knockout encounter. Somehow they managed to make it, and somehow they put 252 in a run chase which was reduced to 42 overs in a match. Sri Lanka never got away from the net run rate. In fact, the required run rate was almost at par at every single point until the last 2 balls. 6 when needed of 2, Asalanka got a boundary, then 2 runs were taken, and scores are level. But DLS adjusted, Sri Lanka managed to win and set up a date against India. Now remember, this Asia Cup was touted as the build-up for the World Cup. India and Sri Lanka have made it to the final, but what about Pakistan? There are some serious questions now over Pakistan, whether they can be one of the favourites to lift the World Cup, because Shoaib Akhtar in his YouTube channel, he had some very, very direct and blunt words for the Pakistan team. The way how Pakistan lost after having won the first Super 4 game convincingly against Bangladesh, 228 run loss to India in a match that stretched to 2 days, then here losing of the very last ball. Shoaib Akhtar has said, this is an embarrassing loss. The way Pakistan got out of the Asia Cup, it is not nice. They have a lot to think about. I mean, imagine, they were one of the teams to actually make it, but then 2 losses, one a massive one and the other last ball, ensured that Pakistan, their chance of winning the Asia Cup or reaching the final has taken a big hit yet again. Now, Shoaib Akhtar pointed out that from this particular point in time, you have to start your World Cup 15-man squad preparation. How do you do it? Pakistan, remember, they are beset by injuries. Haris Rauf is injured, but he might come back. Naseem Shah might not make it for some of the games in the start of the World Cup. So what do you do then? Shoaib Akhtar has stated one very simple fact. When you pick the 15-man squad, do not create confusion. Finalize your playing 11. These are the factors that Shoaib Akhtar has pointed out, which is plaguing Pakistan cricket at this point in time. No depth in the middle order. Batting order is not solid. The spinners are struggling. He is absolutely right when he talks about these 3 aspects, because remember, Fakhar Zaman and the openers have not given Pakistan a good start in this Asia Cup. Then if you look at the depth, apart from Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, that day, yesterday, luckily Iftikhar Ahmed stepped up. But if it's not Iftikhar, Mohammad Haris has struggled, Iftikhar has struggled, and because of that, everybody in the Pakistan batting lineup has struggled for consistency. That's why there is no depth in the middle order. You have often had to look at Shadab Khan to ensure that you're bailed out. But on the spinners front, what was the major factor in Pakistan's loss yesterday? The lack of control in the middle overs. Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz, they all leaked runs. Iftikhar got you back in the game with 3 wickets, but Iftikhar is a part-timer. Shadab, a full-time leg spinner, bowled 9 overs. And that is where Pakistan may have lost it even in the tactics sense, because Shoaib Akhtar was very blunt. He said, captaincy needs to be sharp. If they want to win the World Cup, the tactics need to be sound. There is a lot of murmur on social media, especially in Pakistan, that yes, Babar Azam may be a good batsman, but as a captain, he perhaps lacks that tactical acumen. Now, he cited, if they want to win the World Cup, the tactics need to be sound. He just pointed out one particular instance of Charit Asalanka batting and the rest of the Sri Lankans. They had to rely on few risks. They spotted the gap, they ran 1s and 2s on a regular basis. It did not help that Pakistan's ground fielding was also inconsistent, which at best is always inconsistent. Yesterday also it remained the same. So, Pakistan, they could have at least gotten pressure. They could have ensured the fielders were sharp. They would have been stopping the 1s and the 2s. They didn't let that happen. Big shots were coming, but very few. Sri Lanka primarily relied on ones and twos to ensure that they got closer to the target. And that is why Babar Azam's field placements and the decision to not bowl one of their key bowlers might have probably hurt Pakistan in a big way. But incidentally, if you have to look at it, they had already lost the match a couple of days earlier, because you have to remember that in this game there were 5 changes. 2 especially in the bowling front. Haris Rauf was not there and Naseem Shah wasn't there. You had Zaman Khan, and you also had, if you have to look at it, one of the other pacers who came in at that time. So there was Zaman Khan, who made a big impact on the match. He somehow came close to defending 8 runs but just could not cope up. But Shoaib Akhtar had full of praise for him. He said, Zaman made it a match. A product of the PSL, he bowled brilliantly. Shaheen Afridi also made it a match with his 2 wickets. I mean, come to think about it, had he not gotten the wickets of Dhananjay De Silva and Dunit Vellalage, Pakistan would actually have lost in the previous over itself. But luckily, Shaheen bowled a brilliant death over, and that is why Zaman Khan had the license to ensure that he could defend it. He almost bowled 4 great balls, but the next 2 balls, an outside edge that flew between the gap and 2 runs, ensured Pakistan were eliminated. But in retrospect, Pakistan might have lost it in the mind about 2 days earlier, because the net run rate situation that confronted them and their loss to India, the nature of their loss to India, meant that Pakistan just had an uphill task to recover. Remember, they could have still won it had that field placements been right, had ground fielding been sharp. Pakistan would have won by a narrow margin, and we would have seen an India versus Pakistan final. But unfortunately, Pakistan are sometimes their own worst enemy, and there are a lot of memes floating around in social media, and that is the reason why Pakistan's quest to win the Asia Cup yet again remains a dream. We don't know when the next edition of the Asia Cup will be, where it will be considering the current situation. So one hopes that Pakistan can stage a comeback, but at this point in 2023, major obstacle for the World Cup you now will have to consider after their Asia Cup performance. Are they indeed one of the favourites? Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.